Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
At ThePrint, our team of reporters, columnists and editors try and bring you the finest journalism which is questioning and which is nuanced. But to sustain this level of journalism, we need viewers and readers like you to pay for it just a little bit. So subscribe to us. You can log on to our website, theprint.in. There are links given for you whether you live in India or overseas. In West Bengal, where elections are due next year, there seems to be a lot of buzz around whether the BJP has been trying to woo former Indian cricket captain Sourav Ganguly to be its CM face. What is clear, however, so far is that the BJP still is unsure of its strategy in West Bengal, whether it wants to fight the elections as a Modi versus Didi, which is Mamata Banerjee election, without a CM face, like it did say in other important elections like Uttar Pradesh, or whether it wants to project a CM face and go forward with that. And the question is, why does BJP need a CM face in West Bengal? It has its trump card in Narendra Modi, which has worked state after state and into consecutive Lok Sabha elections. Why does it want to experiment by bringing in someone? The only time we've seen that they've really experimented and thought of someone out of the box was in the Delhi Assembly elections of 2015. When Kiran Bedi was brought in, and that of course we know how badly that went down for the BJP. There was an embarrassing drubbing which the party is unlikely to forget in years to come. So does the party want to take that risk, or does it want to go with Modi versus Didi? However, that's not as simple, because just like the dilemma it faced in the Delhi elections of 2020, the same dilemma, the same predicament now the party faces in West Bengal as well, because pitching Narendra Modi directly against Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee means that you are risking diminishing the stature of the PM and the halo around his winnability if Mamata Banerjee manages to defeat him. So there are two risks for the BJP. Now let's first talk about how well Narendra Modi has worked for the BJP in the past. Then we can go on to talk about why in West Bengal the situation is a bit more dicey. Well, essentially, if you look back at elections since Narendra Modi became Prime Minister in 2014, the state elections the BJP has gone on to win, for instance, say Assam in 2016, it was fought around Narendra Modi. Of course, there was Sarbananda Sonowal, who was the CM face of the party, but he is not as impactful a leader, and he was more in the shadows than being out in the open. So the election was around Narendra Modi. In UP in 2017, again, the focal point was the Prime Minister. In fact, I travelled extensively across the state to cover the election, and I found that his presence was so overpowering that in many instances, the voters did not even know who the immediate candidate was, and they were just voting for, as they said, Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi. We know how spectacularly well the BJP did in UP in 2017, despite the recent demonetization gaffe, which many had predicted would go against the BJP, but it didn't. Again in Tripura, another crucial election, because that was an uncharted territory for the BJP. It was a state which the left had held for decades. The BJP managed to dislodge the Manik Sarkar government, again with Narendra Modi as its face. So in all these elections, we saw Yogi Adityanath. The BJP decided Yogi Adityanath would be the chief minister only after its win. It decided Biplab Dev would be its chief minister in Tripura only after its win. If you look at the other state elections that the BJP did not do well in, whether it's Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan or Chhattisgarh in the winter of 2018, or it's Maharashtra later, these elections were fought with there were other faces, state leaders in the BJP who were sitting CM, so naturally they were the faces, and the BJP did not end up doing well in these elections. The exception has been Delhi. In 2015, as I said, in Delhi, Kiran Bedi was the face and the party bombed in the elections. But even in 2020, against Arvind Kejriwal, Narendra Modi's magic in the national capital did not work. And this brings me to my second point about why this dilemma the BJP is facing a similar dilemma in West Bengal. See, West Bengal is a very high stakes election. The entire party machinery, the entire Sangh ecosystem is pumping in all its resources to win the state. This has been going on for a while. In fact, The run up to the 2019 Lok Sabha elections saw a very bitter personal campaign between Narendra Modi and Mamata Banerjee, both of them throwing jibes at each other, calling each other names. In fact, even very recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Mamata Banerjee had destroyed the state. So this has been a very, very personal, a very, very aggressive, a very, very acrimonious battle between the two, and also between Mamata Banerjee and Amit Shah. So in that case, the Prime Minister being directly pitted against Mamata Banerjee, it can work in favor of the BJP, because as my colleague Maushmi Das Gupta, who travelled across the state ahead of the Lok Sabha elections, says, he's very popular, but there is a slight risk of it boomeranging as well. And can that risk be taken by the BJP is what the party is wondering. Interestingly, top party sources tell me that in a way the party is fairly confident of West Bengal. They feel the situation there, and I quote them, is as ripe as it was in UP, Tripura, Assam in the earlier elections, because people are looking for parivartan, people are looking for change. However, having said that, there are two ways the party can go. It can find itself a Sourav Ganguly in the state to take Mamata Banerjee on, but can it find a candidate who's as effective as Mamata Banerjee and as popular a CM that Mamata Banerjee has been? And can it find a candidate who can match up to the kind of might Modi brings when he campaigns as a face of an election? Or will it go ahead with Narendra Modi? Very evidently, as I said earlier also, it's an unusual situation for the BJP. It's usually fairly decided about how it wants to fight a certain election. Like in several elections, it already has a CM face. In certain other elections, it's going all out with Modi as the face. This election, till the last minute, it seems the BJP is still thinking about what to do. For more, you can log on to our website, ThePrint.in, to read my column, Politics.